Susul.
Welcome to Under the Plumbob, the podcast about all things related to the EA Max's series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made-up ones. Each episode will focus on one of several rotating themes, including building, gameplay, lore, and more. This episode, we had a sequel from our Pancakes Newbies episode. We're covering the history of the Broke family in The Sims, and what a history it is. I am Caitlin.
I'm Roxy.
And I don't go here. Hi, I'm Melissa.
But today we're your team Llama.
Yes. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
We got you this hat. It's a llama hat.
Ooh, fits perfectly.
Yeah, we are all budding members and enthusiasts of the Illuminati.
That's right. And you can be too.
Mm-hmm.
It goes deep in this particular topic.
Oh my God. The Brokes, you guys. This is nuts. I feel woefully unprepared, although I've read all the Sims wiki pages. There's just so many Brokes.
There's duplicate Brokes, maybe. There's time travel Brokes. There's missing
Brokes. Oh my God.
There's just a broken game.
There's all time Brokes.
I'm broke. It's fine.
I'm also broke.
The Brokes can break your game, literally.
Oh.
As the wiki says, the more the merrier. So where do we start with the Brokes?
Well, we have to start with the upside down. Stranger Things just came out. Okay. You've already seen it by the time you hear this, but Stranger Things. Okay. But yeah, The Sims 3 being the beginning of our Sim saga.
That's right.
Because they decided to do a prequel.
Mm-hmm. Because I guess that was popular at the time.
Yes, as we know, Sims 3 in Sims chronology is where the timeline, so to speak, starts.
And this time we actually know what Riverview is. Apologies for not knowing that before.
That's right. I definitely had it, but I don't think I bought it.
Yeah, Riverview.
You just had to download it.
Exactly. It was in the Sims 3 store, which is still a thing, and you can still spend money on because EA is thirsty for your juicy, juicy dollars.
Listen, they can have them.
I don't like that phrase.
But Riverview is free. Sims 3 Riverview, the Broke family is one of your playable households. And this neighborhood also comes with the Simovich family, which is Brandy's maternal family, where Betty comes from, and the Newbie family, which is obviously where you get Bob and his parents. But those two are teenagers, and we get to skip Broke, who's the patriarch of the Broke family. And the reason we had a second episode and didn't just throw it in with the Newbie episode. Does that make sense? Okay. So Skip Broke is...
Stay with us.
Yeah. Skip Broke is adorable little blonde, blue-eyed child. But his bio says, Skip Broke wishes his mom and dad would clean up more often. But he knows... he is loved. I swear to God,
so
if my kids...
Upsetting.
Okay, that's sweet. But if my kids said that I needed to clean up more often, I'd probably just, give them a glare.
Oh, I'd be so mad. What a kid thing to say.
Yeah. You could clean too, you know.
My mommy loves to drink wine, but I know I'm loved. All right.
She gives me hugs when she drinks enough of it, so I like it.
Oh, Skip. It only gets worse from here.
So the Broke family name was already established from Sims 2 in our chronology, but this is the ostensible origin story. So
the prequel.
Yeah.
He was sort of predestined to have his roots in a less financially secure family, we'll say.
They're the Brokes, of course.
Exactly. They're just really leaning into this pun. And quick disclaimer, in this episode, I meant to say, we'll be discussing murder and financially disadvantaged people and probably throwing around the P word, poor, etc. This is all meant. This is all in the context of the Sims world. We are not throwing any aspirations upon real people's misfortunes. That's my disclaimer.
Right.
Okay.
As poor people, yes.
The trailer park family is Flo and Flat Broke.
Get it?
Skip's parents.
Yeah, those are Skip's parents. He's an only child, but he has an uncle who's Flat Broke's brother, Buck Broke. Don't ask me.
Buck Broke.
I don't know. He's got two kids. I lied. Skip's not an only child, but Skip has a sister named Ruby, and he has two cousins that live with him as well, named Trigger and Susie. Did you follow any of that? There's a ton of people in this household.
You guys, I had to go and Google like the family portrait from the game, and it's a lot.
Flo and Flat Broke had Skip and Ruby. Uncle Buck had Trigger and Susie.
Right,
and they're all in the same house.
I don't know where Trigger and Susie's maternal unit is. It's a Disney story, I guess.
Yeah.
And of all those people, Skip is the only one who has the neat trait. Everyone else is a slob and a party animal and has like part-time jobs, and nobody's like fully employed, and they just having too much fun to worry about that.
Hey man, whatever makes you happy. But Skip, I get it. I get the need for having a clean place.
I'm picturing them just leaving like cups everywhere and him just trying to like put it back. And then like the second like he goes to do something at like just little like 7-year-old being like, mom.
Yeah.
So Skip had it kind of rough, but it does sound like he had a happy family. And
they love each other.
And then we move on to his unfortunate demise.
Yes. So in Sims 2, the family bio starts. Brandy was left to raise 2 boys alone following her husband's suspicious pool ladder accident. With Dustin acting out, can Brandy teach young Beau to make the right choices in life? So in Sims 2, Skip has died. He's by the time in the time jump between Sims, which is a 50-year time jump between Sims 3 and Sims 2, Skip grew up, married Brandy, had 2/3 children, and then died.
Wow.
2.5.
2.5. One's cooking.
Yes, because Brandy is pregnant when you enter the home, right?
Yep.
Like, so she's got Beau, who's a toddler, and then she's pregnant with another bebe, and Dustin is your acting out teen.
And she's not showing. Yeah, and she's definitely not showing until the first day. So if you like just wander into that one as your first household, you're like, what? Excuse me?
Oh, God bless. God bless.
Maxis used to love surprises.
They did. Yeah. They don't give us those anymore.
As much.
So the tragedy continues. It's rough.
Okay, we want to talk about their house.
Yeah. So
it's kind of weird.
It looks so lot 55, Woodland Drive. It's up in the upper, if you're looking at it's like in the upper right-hand corner, I think, at the starting thing. Kind of looks like a trailer. It has a square-shaped pool in the backyard. No ladder. Suspicious.
Interesting.
They have 929 simoleons, which is not a lot for
not
simoleons. Great. But they have some pricey items like a pinball machine and a fancy bed. So maybe they're just not great at money.
That would have probably been from Brandy's side of the family, because you remember from The Sims 3, the newbie family is kind of living above their means.
Yeah, they had like low funds, but they had some pricey items. Like they had a nice car, right? So
it's very similar.
And it kind of carries over to the pancakes, which, again, go listen to our pancakes episode. But Eliza, who we think is kind of like a Betty newbie duplicate, is materialistic and is always like looking to buy new things and admire her purchases. I noticed that when I started my rotational play with the pancakes.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's really freaking annoying because like... Stop. You have things. You have nice things. Don't make me buy new things for you. You have a toddler.
Just poke around, because sometimes they get that, like, they can look at it interaction for a real long time.
It's new for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Brandy, so we'll go through, there's 3, when you start the house, there's 3 people in there. So Brandy is the matriarch now. She is the daughter of Bob and Betty Newby. Her bio is friendly by nature. Brandy has often been accused of being overly so. She enjoys grape juice and crumbling tinfoil.
What?
Overly friendly, you say?
Yeah. But also that doesn't...
Oh, no.
So because, like, okay, so in Sims 2, they had personality levels, not so much as, they didn't have traits, they had personality levels, which were outgoing, playful, nice, active, and neat. Her nice thing is only 6 out of 10. You think with a thing like overly nice,
so, yeah.
you get a 10 out of 10 or like a 9.
But that outgoing piece helps too.
But yeah, she's also 6 out of 10. So she's got 6 out of 10 for outgoing, 6 out of 10 for outgoing, playful, and nice. 4 out of 10 for active, so she's more on the lazy side. I feel it. And she's 3 out of 10 for neat. I also feel that.
And she's got that tragic hairstyle with the clip and the bangs that just need some help.
I will say she's one of the prettier starting Sims because she's got the dark hair and gray eyes. I love it.
Definitely.
Oh, sometimes she had the want to have 6 kids, and I was like, gladly, you will make beautiful children. All of them will be gorgeous.
And super poor.
Yes.
Oh my God.
But also in Sims 2, they had their zodiac signs were important. She's marked as an Aries, but the Sims Wiki makes a point of pointing out that a Sim with her personality trait would normally be an Aquarius.
Interesting. So the zodiac sign was what determined your personality trait when you created a new Sim, correct?
Or if you were putting the points in, the zodiac sign would change it. You could pick it via zodiac sign, or you could manually put the points in yourself.
But it would change your sign depending on where you put the points.
Yeah, they were correlated.
Yeah. We can talk a little bit more about zodiac when we get to Dustin, because they have the same, well, you'll see.
Same exact one.
Yeah.
Unemployed. She doesn't have a job. So her memories show, because Sims 2 had the memory feature, so you could see what happened to the pre-made Sims before, which we'll cue in later. Her memory shows that she quit the culinary career. She was a drive-thru clerk when her second son, Bo, was born. She also shows that she grew up well. She met Skip when she was a child. He was her first kiss when they were teenagers, but they didn't fall in love until they were adults. And both of her parents were dead before Dustin was born.
Okay.
So that explains kind of their situation. There isn't any...
Yeah, that tracks.
Not a lot of people to help the family. Only child.
Yeah.
A real only child this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's a young mom, and life's tough, man. So Dustin broke, the eldest broke child in The Sims 2. His bio reads, Dustin's rebellious nature gets him into trouble, but deep down he wishes people would tell him what to do. Oh, I mean...
What do I do?
Same.
Because he's probably like, I don't, like, this is the only job, like, what am I supposed to do? Everybody...
Yeah, he's lost in his life. He's missing a father. He is the boyfriend of Angel Pleasant. Isn't it Angela?
It is Angela.
He is the boyfriend of... Whoopsie!
Put an A there.
I doubted my own knowledge. He is the boyfriend of Angela Pleasant, who's the rebel one,
she's the good one.
Good girl.
She's the good daughter.
The good girl's dating the bad boy.
That's right. Okay.
Tropes.
Love it. They have not had their first kiss when you begin the game. Dustin aspires to fortune, which is interesting knowing what we know in Sims 4. We'll get to that in a second. He's a teenager, but he's 12 days away from becoming an adult. He has blonde hair, dark blue eyes, looks a lot like his pop, which, is just more heartbreaking. So he has kind of the same thing as Brandy. He's an Aries, but he's got the personality of what in the Sims 2 world would typically be an Aquarius. So for the game developers to, switch this around, there's got to be some reasoning behind it, even if it's not game related necessarily. There was a purposeful adjusting of that sign.
So I wanted to jump in because I'm kind of an astrology buff, like definitely not an expert, but I think it's entertaining. So the traits of the Aries, it's a fire sign, and they're typically passionate, motivated, and confident leaders. They build community and have a cheerful disposition and relentless determination. Whereas the Aquarius is an air sign. It's defined by innovation, technology, and surprising events, and a non-traditional nature.
Surprising events would be closer to what happened.
Yeah.
It does sound like Skip might have been an Aries. And I do kind of feel like you could make a case for Brandy and Dustin also being Aries.
That cheerful disposition thing kind of lines up with what they wrote for Brandy's character.
And then like wanting to build a community, like and his determination to become famous and rich. I don't know. I feel like it works.
I always had in my game that Mary Sue and Brandy become unlikely friends.
Really? I think that's nice.
Just because I was like, I don't know why.
Who's Mary Sue?
The
pleasant mom.
Who gets her husband's cheating on her with the maid.
Yeah.
Well, then he's just like right out.
He's a romance sim, and if you the way that it's planned out, because in Sims 2 they planned it out. The maid will come over and then be like, "Should I stay over?" And you're like, "Yeah," and then it plans out so you will be woohooing the maid right when chance card comes up, which you will for Mary Sue, which will fail no matter what you pick. And then she'll come home early being fired to walk in on her husband cheating on the maid when she gets home.
That took some hardcore programming, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Do you want to skip back to Dustin?
Yeah, sorry.
Before doing so, I definitely think we should have a pleasant episode because they were one of my favorites in Sims 2.
They're
because who doesn't love twins?
They're a fan favorite too, so I think it's going to be maybe the end of our trilogy.
I like it. Yeah. I like it. So back to Dustin, it is worth mentioning with all of his personality traits that it is the exact same setup as Mom. 6 out of 10 outgoing, 6 out of 10 nice, 3 out of 10 neat. So the same stats as Mom, which is interesting. His memories from Sims 2, he's got a memory of losing a fight with Gordon King. Gordon King is one of the pre-made burglars. Can't speak today. Gordon King, who is one of the pre-made burglars in Sims 2. However, Gordon is his friend when you start the game. So, I feel like this is what dudes do, I guess. It's we go to fisticuffs, but we're also bro, I'd die for you.
I wondered if, because since his career is also the criminal career track, I wonder if he got the wrong end of Gordon King, but then Gordon King was like, okay, you're going to work for me now. And they became unlikely. And that's how he got the job.
Yeah.
And they became friends after the fact.
He's like, hey, I came to rob you. Guess I can't because you don't have anything except for this fancy bed and pinball machine. But I like your style. I like your gumption. I like your flair, kid.
Join me in that. He got a fedora just for that moment.
Yep. Your moxie. That's the word I was looking for. I like your moxie, kid. Gordon King is now a mobster.
Pointed at him and winked.
Have you ever seen the movie Lost in Yonkers?
No,
probably not. It's not a really big movie, but there's a really awesome scene in the movie where this little kid's pushes up his, I'm gesturing, you can't see me, but he pushes up the sleeves of his shirt and he's rubs his face. He's like, that's Moxie. It's so cute.
That's Moxie kid.
So if you like little period pieces about New York City.
I do. And also I just like talking like that for no reason. So
we had a reason. Gordon King was our reason.
That's right. So Dustin's memories don't end there. He is his enemy, his nemesis is Daniel Pleasant, who is Angela's dad, the aforementioned cheater, pumpkin eater with Kaylin Langerak. Am I remembering that correctly? The maid.
Who's also having an affair with Don Lothario, the maid is. And she's
girl, I mean, she can get it.
Hey, save something for the Pleasant episode.
Sorry.
All right, I will. All right. So, Dustin is the sole breadwinner of the Broke family when you begin the game. So, Brandy's unemployed. She's got the toddler. Spoiler alert, she's got one more on the way. So, Dustin is the only one working, and he's a teen, so he has to be going to school.
I mean, if that isn't relentless determination, I don't know what is. He's obviously a mama's boy.
Yeah. And with my play style, because I'm like the most boring Sims player ever, I would go into that and be like, all right, let's get this together. And Dustin would do nothing but work and like get good grades and like never see Angela. And, like she'd come over and be like, I miss you. And I'd be like, gotta go to work. Sorry. Supporting my family. So
I never had them make it because I've had to start my rotational play with them like more than a few times. They never make it.
You don't think that Angela...
They ain't gonna make it.
They ain't gonna make it? We don't have high hopes for Angela?
Because in Sims 2 Nightlife, which was the only expansion pack I had for a majority of my Sims 2 career before the Unlimited came out, it came with the chemistry feature, which is my favorite thing. They only had one lightning bolt. They didn't even have 2 lightning bolts. And I was like, it's not worth it to keep you together if you don't even have 2 lightning bolts. So, because Lilith and Dirk Dreamer... in fact, did make it. They have 2 lightning bolts. And I was like, Obs, you're going to stay together.
They were meant to be. Mm-hmm. I love them.
They make pretty kids, too.
Yeah, they do.
We should talk about Dirk and Dustin real quick, because they make a reappearance.
Oh. Yes, I was about to jump to that. But I did want to posit the theory that is Angela maybe just with Dustin just to piss her dad off?
Yeah.
I mean...
Look, I get it. I so get it.
If I ever play the Pleasant family, I'm gonna have to kill Daniel. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's fine. He's the worst.
But he also makes good-looking kids. It's a Don Lothario problem of like, but I could procreate and make
He doesn't need to make any more kids. He can go elsewhere.
Like, I want more like recessive gene children sometimes because the recessive genes went out real fast in Sims 2. So I was like, I need to populate more because you actually work the way genes work. So I need to populate more recessive genes.
I'm sure we'll have a very extended gene talk later.
Oh, yeah, we definitely should. Because that's been such a point of contention across each of the games. Like, why don't these work anymore?
But there's a little bit of genetics we got to discuss later on once we get through here. Yeah. Are we going to talk about Get Famous now or introduce Little Bo?
Yes, we can. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick hop because Dustin does not die out in The Sims 4. We lose a lot of, characters due to the fact that Sims 4 is technically on a different timeline. They talk about it as alternate universe. But we get a little cameo of Dustin Broke. He's available with the Get Famous Career Pack. He's an adult with no other relationships. He is a 3-star celebrity with a bad reputation.
Don't give a damn about my bad reputation.
He keeps that bad boy sheen, which I love. He is a
business.
Boop, boop. He works in the business career as a senior manager, and is a level 6. I
didn't understand that because he was running around with like headphones. Like, who does that?
Well, he's like an industry guy. Like he's
a millennial.
He's in the music industry, but he's the business side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's business side. He has aspirations to be fabulously wealthy, which is like so heartbreaking. When he came with the Get Famous pack, he doesn't live on any of the lots, but he's got green eyes, tan skin, and is a little bit more to love than the previously blonde-haired, blue-eyed fit version.
Green eyes is interesting, which will be a later green.
Can we just take an aside here? And right around the 4th of July, I did a Twitch stream where he played an evil mermaid in Island Living. And I tried to explain this, like, there's this weird thing in Sims 4 where you have like the pre-made households that are already settled in your town. But then they have all these like townies that are like featured in the promos and like they're like callback characters. And so they're like townies, but they're not randomly generated. Because when you go into like the households view and you look at the households that are not in the world, you can only see those like randomly generated townies. You cannot find, Dustin and Dirk Dreamer and, all those people. You have to actually meet them in game and then add them and then to be able to play them.
Oh.
Okay.
Like you have to either move in with them or cheat them into your family, and because that's what I had to do with the Evil Mermaid, because she was featured in the promo stuff, but she's not in. You can't find her unless you actually find her. So it's like this weird Easter egg situation with like these kind of infamous townies that are.
Did we actually
more
find
elusive.
a hidden thing in Sims 4? Was there actually something you had to dig to find in Sims 4?
Yeah, like it
Oh my
seems to be. Also, I just love that there was a comic book artist that did a fan art of Dustin and Dirk getting together instead of messing around with the Calientes, or no, it was the Pleasant
twins.
Sisters.
Yeah.
The Pleasant Sisters. Sorry.
I've never seen that pairing before. I was like, oh, hey, that's
And that
nice.
was, that was so cute. I love me a slash pairing, so I had to mention that here.
Cute.
And I tried to do it, but I like found Dirk, added him, started playing him. I'd only tried for like a day.
Oh, it's Sims 4?
Yeah, and I was trying to find Dustin to try to see if I could get them together, but I couldn't find him. And then I noticed that he had a little moodlet that he wanted to go introduce himself to Dustin, and I was like, God damn it, I was on a lot with him, but I just didn't see him there.
Like, my shipping heart needs this to happen.
Oh well, wah wah.
Well, Dirk is also available in the Get Famous pack. We didn't really explicitly say that. Dirk Dreamer being the boyfriend of Lilith Pleasant. This is all. We should just talk about this in the Pleasant episode.
Yeah, we can definitely bring the Dreamers into the Pleasant episode and revisit this whole slash situation.
So, like, we want to, for sure, if that's something you are interested in, listeners, go to our website and message us about your thoughts on the Pleasant family, because I'm sure they're very polarizing. The Pleasants, the Dirks, nope, the Dreamers.
Dirk.
Everybody.
Dirks. We'll save that for that episode. Definitely write us if you want more on that whole love quadrangle. But let's move on to Beau.
Baby Beau.
Your turn.
So Beau broke. He's a cute little toddler. His bio, I don't know where you view the character bios in Sims 2, but that's because I'm ignorant.
The wiki. That's where you find them.
Somewhere you can hover over. There's like it looks like a little notepad with like a pen. I can picture it in my brain, but I can't remember how to get there.
Yeah, so like you could write the character description in addition to writing the whole household description.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay. Beau finds it hard to escape his genetic destiny, but maybe with his mother's help, he can beat the odds.
I just think this is a rough bio for a toddler. That's all.
It's a rough bio, but what does it mean? Like, what is this genetic destiny they're talking about?
I think it's the whole broke, living in a trailer park, not being like they were never gonna be like better, like
or dying in a pool.
Too.
Yeah,
either way,
a lot of ways to interpret this. Sorry.
It's not great, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because I took it as like he didn't want to, like his whole, like for the last 2 generations, his family has been stuck living just at the tail, like just at their means. Like they don't have anything, like it's hard for them. Like they don't have any extra money.
It's hard scrabble.
Sure. Yeah.
So Beau is a carbon copy of his dad, but also Dustin, more Dustin, because they have the same eyes.
He looks different when they grow up.
Well, he looks different, but he's got blonde hair and dark blue eyes.
Which is what Skip has.
Pure,
and Dustin has he's got the same, but
his 2 days from aging up, which I tried playing this family a little bit, but I just haven't been able to grok the Sims 2 controls after playing Sims 4 for so long. But I did play it long enough.
Grok?
Yeah, grok.
What's a grok?
Grok.
What?
Grok is a reference to Stranger in a Strange Land, which is a famous sci-fi book by Robert Heinlein, which I've never actually read, but I hung out with enough people that have read it that I know the reference. That's what the alien...
Cool
that's
story.
What the alien called understanding something. Like, it was an alien trying to live in human culture, and like when he tried to understand something in the human culture, they called it grokking it.
Huh.
Now you've learned something.
Okay.
The more you know.
Read a book. So anyway, little Beau is going to be a child soon. He hasn't really mastered any of the toddler skills, but he's close to finishing walking. He's a third of the way through potty training, and nobody's bothered to teach him how to talk. It's fine.
They're trying, man.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And he has he's got a bunch of
yikes.
personality traits. points. So he's like 7 out of 10 outgoing, 6 out of 10 neat, 5 out of nice, 4 out of lazy, and 3 out of serious. So are playful. So like I don't know how that works, but he's very different from the other 2 members of his family.
He's an outgoing, serious sim.
He's supposed to be an Aries, but they clocked him as a Gemini, which works for me.
Yeah, Gemini.
There's no Virgos here.
That's my Gemini jam. Oh, God bless these poor people.
Yeah.
These poor people. But really, tragedy in this.
We have to get into this insane conspiracy.
So no.
Well, we have to get into
first
the
there is the surprise that if you go in blind to the Broke family, you will be like, okay, so we got no job for the mom, but she's taking care of the children and the teenage rebellion and the toddler. And then one day later, Brandy is pregnant. And you're like, oh, what's happening? Because it turns out right before Skip departed, knocked up Brandy for one last time, the baby will be a boy and look exactly like Brandy. It's not because they used Tombstone of Life and Death, like I said in the Pancakes episode. I was mistaken. It's because they did a code. They used a cloning technique to make the baby because Skip's already dead.
And by they, do you mean the developers or aliens?
Same? Or are they both the same? Are the developers aliens? Because there's actually a discrepancy with like the baby's conception and Skip's death. They don't fit in properly, which is why Sim Guru Lindsay had to come out and say like, no, some things got messed up when we were developing the game, which ends up being the answer to a lot of questions for the Sims 2 conspiracies. Like, no.
I mean, listen, fair.
I mean, obviously, Simguru Lindsay is just the mouthpiece for the conspiracy.
Obviously. She's just the face to the story.
She's just there to say, like, no, that's not a conspiracy.
No.
She's the one wearing the colander hat, okay?
Mm-hmm. But that's to trick us into believing her.
Or is it so she can receive the messages better, clearer, so she can tell us the conspiracies?
It's so she can tell us that, no, this isn't a conspiracy. This is just a developer quirk. Wait. But we know it's really a conspiracy because there's 1,000 theories we have to share.
There's so many. And there's a side note, because normally we include like name meanings and like we go into the names, the backgrounds for a lot of them. Most of these names did not have any kind of fun background meaning. Like Flat Broke is obviously it's a joke on not having any money. So there's not a range or like Justin's name is like a transferred surname. Like it means nothing. It was a last name that's now a first name, with the exception.
Oh, Dustin doesn't have a meaning?
It's a transferred surname. Some believe it's from the last name is Thorstein. I don't know.
I just have to say something real quick about Dustin. There's a person out there named Dustin Trail, and I have to give props to his parents.
Dustin Trail?
Dusty Trail.
Oh. They saw an opportunity and they took
the game?
No, it's
life?
a real person.
Out in the world? Okay.
But I love that name.
For the name meanings, I did just want to say, sometimes I love the translations. The pun kind of crosses over the translations, but for the Portuguese Brazilian version of the game, the Brokes are the Malpagas, Malpaga, and that just means underpaid.
Oh,
which I love.
They're just underpaid, everybody. It's not their fault. Yeah. I mean, hashtag millennials relate.
Yeah, we're all poor. Also, there's an exception for Beau. Beau means handsome in French, so he ends up having a very nice jawline when he grows up, too. So
and Brandy's like some booze, man.
Yeah, so either that would make me like, come here, Whiskey. Let me tell you the tale of your birth name.
Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot, come to Grandma.
What if they did?
Oh, I totally wanted to do a challenge like that once where you name them all. Anyway.
What if you just...
Call signs?
And they all, when you've finished having kids, they all spell out your name.
Forget it.
That would be so much fun.
The name meanings aren't super in-depth, but it is definitely worth mentioning, which we will get back around to in our conspiracy time. If you're Swedish and you play this game, Skip Broke has 2 different name translations, one for the green-eyed and one for the blue-eyed. So I'll let that be our transition into our next topic.
Get your tinfoil hats ready, people.
I can't believe you went
Hi,
off
I'm Brandy
script
Broke
with
and
name stuff.
You mad?
No.
You mad?
You're rogue. You're rogue. You're not even supposed to be here.
She does what she wants.
Sorry.
She does what she wants.
I'm getting
Did I go off script or did I jump ahead? Did you have
I'm getting
it?
my colander hat ready. Thank you.
Well, I am Brandy Broke and I love crumpling tinfoil, so my hat will be very well shaped.
Oh my god, is that a reference to her making a tinfoil hat?
Done and done.
Done and dusted.
Before we
We're going
get
insane.
to Skip Broke, we'll start with his death. Start at the
Tell me
end.
everything.
The suspicious pool ladder incident. So the pool in the back looks like they're poor. Why did was the pool there when they bought the trailer? Is their money gone because they put the pool in?
It looks like they were trying to make a pond and it's just ugly.
Whoops.
And there's also no ladder on this pool. So who removed it? Did he trip and fall?
Was it removed? Was it ever removed? Was it ever there to begin
Was
with?
Skip ever real?
So Dustin,
Did we skip him?
I'm doubting everything about myself.
there's no grave on the lot, which is also weird because even for the Dreamer household, they also there's a dead parent there, but there's a grave on the site on the house, but there's
It's like an urn,
no,
right?
it's a grave near the willow tree in the back.
Oh, yeah.
There's no grave for dear departed Skip Broke, and so who could have done it? There's a couple. Some people think they kept it in the family, so maybe Dustin. He's a criminal after all.
Whoa.
What if Gordon King did it?
Could be Gordon King.
So, there's also Brandy.
What if when Dustin and
I
Gordon
don't
were
think Brandy
fighting,
did.
Skip was there and he got accidentally knocked into the pool?
And nobody saw it.
Or they just kept it quiet, and that's why Dustin has to work for Gordon because he's being blackmailed for being involved in his father's death.
Yeah, because teenage boys are
Interesting.
easy to manipulate.
Sad but true.
That's true.
Brandy could have done it for the money. I mean,
They have no
who
money.
knows when they got
Unless the
the pinball machine in the fancy bed.
That's true.
True.
However, a Skip Broke does have a romance trait aspiration. Maybe he was also seeing a caliente or a maid on the side, and her friendly nature took a fit of rage for 2 seconds.
One of the Skips?
No, not my Skip.
We need to talk about this fact that there's 2 Skip Brokes.
There's 2 Skip Brokes. 2 Skip Brokes.
And do you have their names ready? Their
So-
Swedish names?
Yes, I do.
Sweet.
There is one Skip Broke with light blue eyes and one with green eyes. Somehow they have 2 different voice actors also. I don't understand how that works. Because they're both
Because
dead.
they're 2 different people,
Very
Caitlin.
interesting.
Light blue Skip Broke appears on the photo album, but isn't resurrectable. He had the popularity aspiration. What's his name?
Sagapank.
Sagapank.
Pank with a K.
Julia, let us know how this is supposed to
Pancakes.
be pronounced.
Julia's just frowning, listening,
She's like, get out of here.
mm. So that's light blue Skip Broke. He had light blue eyes. He's in the photo album, not resurrectable. Light blue, just to keep that straight. Light blue, photo album, not resurrectable, popularity aspiration. Saga Punk. There is a green-eyed Skip. He appears in the family tree. Can be resurrected with Tombstone of Life and Death, a favorite of Sims 2 lore. And he had the romance aspiration.
Wait,
so the
what's
way
his name?
genetics worked in Sim... Oh yeah, what's his name?
His name is Kim
Kim
Pank.
Pank.
And it's interesting because Kim Pank is the name used for Skip Broke's version, the Skip Broke iteration in Sims 3. So he's Kim Pank in Sims 3, and his green-eyed self is Kim Pank in Sims 2. But blue-eyed Broke is Saga
I
Pank.
think the green-eyed Skip is supposed to be the real one. Like the true, because he's resurrectable. He's in the family tree. But one of the weirder things about the two Skip Brokes is genetically, neither of them match with the children.
Yeah. Green eyes. Get out of here.
Light blue eyes? No. Your two boys have dark blue eyes, and Brandy has gray eyes, and that was the most recessive gene.
Dark blue, so she wasn't green or light blue?
Nope. Because Brandy had gray eyes, she only had the gray eye. Because the way that the genes worked in Sims 2 was it was like the very basic, like this is dominant, this is recessive. So gray eyes was the most recessive trait in the entirety of the game. So you had to have both, like, your 2 points had to both be gray. And light blue was more recessive than dark blue. And then brown was the most and then it went gray, green, light, dark, brown. I
don't know, man. This is getting into science class.
So the fact that Skip Broke had light blue eyes and both kids had dark blue eyes or green eyes doesn't match with the dark blue eyes because those are more dominant and they should have shown up earlier.
I'll take your word for it.
Long story short, one of the parents should have had dark blue eyes in order to make both kids have dark blue eyes.
So even the clone secondary whatever doesn't make sense either, is what we're saying. None of this makes sense.
You want to talk about Sim PE? Is that like when the Sims have to go to gym class?
Who may?
Yeah. And they do jumping jacks.
Put on your active clothes.
So the way that people know this is because people can't let a thing sit. So that it's a third-party program that lets players see the packaging files for Sims 2. So you can use and edit or fix various things about the Sims. So you can also do things with objects or clothes or meshes. I think that's how a lot of people made meshes for Sims 2 at the time. You can also edit names. You can fix background stuff. You can also add memories or take away memories. Change family trees, resurrect Sims that can't be resurrected, like maybe you're just in the photo albums and not actually a playable thing in the game. With a resurrectonometron?
Resurrectonometron.
And we use, so they can also clone objects, resource from, like, you can do a lot of stuff. And this is how people figured out, like, besides the fact that they saw two different Skip Brokes in the pictures and in the thing, this is how they found out about the green-eyed Skip, and this is how they found out. Yeah, and this is how, because only one's findable in the game. SimPE made it so they could find the other Skip Broke that's not in the game and resurrect him and see all the differences.
He's there, but he's got like broken code or incomplete code or something like that.
Yeah, like,
so this is sort of like SimPE is sort of like Sim Studio for Sims 4, but I don't know if Sim Studio does this much. But I have a theory that's not related to the Brokes. I think Sims 2 was just a training program for the CIA or the FBI, because people were doing some serious detective work on this shit back in the day.
My God.
Wow.
Well, this is also, they also realize if you edit Skip's character file because Brandy the third child will always be born with Brandy's exact genetics except being a boy. If you connect Skip, because nobody else is linked because Skip's dead already, but if you connect Skip through SimPE, the baby that'll be born will have both, will have the chances of being female, will have both of their genetics. Yeah. Sims 2 was serious, just like, the internet's not, that we don't have phones yet all the time, so we needed something else to do in 2005. So
yeah, I didn't have a smartphone in 2005.
People were
all right,
busy.
Let's talk about all the things in the Broke family tree that don't add up.
Yeah.
I mean,
because we have
get into these like juicy conspiracy theories.
This is math. Now, we had science class, now it's math class.
Learning with Team Llama.
I don't like it.
We're so sorry.
Adjust your tinfoil hats. A lot of this takes into account the mechanics of Sims 2 and Sims 3, so obviously, we are conspiring for the sheer fun of it. So don't write us like, okay, it's just because the developers didn't make it that way. We don't care. We don't care. We're story building.
This is world building. We know what we're doing.
Things that don't add up. The difference in Dustin and Brandy's ages may have led many to believe that she had him when she was a teenager. So Brandy's a young adult in The Sims 2 and Dustin is a teenager in Sims 2. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, from a storytelling perspective, she could be a young mom. She's got the branding of a young mom. Obviously, real reason they were made in cast, so that, you know, can skew your
Get out
ages
of here
a little
with
bit.
your real reasons.
We don't want that.
I'm sorry.
We want the drama of an underage, not of a pregnancy.
We can talk drama. Between The Sims 2 and Sims 3, Skip Broke's age doesn't really add up. So he died in The Sims 2 as an adult, and we are assuming not long into his adult life because of his kid's age and because we know Brandy had, you know, Dustin as a teenager, or at least is a new enough adult to have had a teenage son. So Sims 3 is supposed to be 50 years in the past from Sims 2. And in the past, in the Sims 3 iteration, Skip Broke appears as a child, along with teens Bob and Betty Newby, who, according to family trees, become his future wife's parents. So, was Skip actually closer to being an elder? Like, closer than we thought when he died? Or is this just like an error in the creator's part? So what do you guys think before I give you the answer?
I'm wondering if he was older.
Yeah, I think he's older. But in The Sims 2, did it go baby, toddler, child, teenager, adult? Or did it go teenager, young adult, adult?
There was just adult, I think.
Yeah.
But it was super long.
Yeah.
The adult stage was very long. It was like 30 days. No. 30 days?
It was just like the rest of your life. Yeah, there wasn't
they didn't have elder
for 2 at least.
There was an elder. There was elder in Sims 2.
But I think they just had one big adult period instead of having a young adult and then adult.
Yeah, it was super long.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, but there was a blog post in 2009 by Sim Guru Rain, who was a producer for the Riverview, made a very interesting comment on a blog post.
It says, the Broke family has their roots in the more rustic area of town. If you played The Sims 2, you'll have a very interesting time telling this story. Hint, you'll have to skip twice for it to work. Excuse me?
And skip is spelt with a capital S.
Someone's trying to be clever.
That's right. What could this mean? Some people, well, what do you guys think?
I want to hear the theories first.
Yeah, I have a favorite.
All right, well, so the established theory is that Riverview Skip is possibly the father of Pleasantview Skip, as in there are multiple Skips. You know, you have to skip twice. But that would mean Sims 3 and Riverview is in another alternate timeline, which is just, alternate timeline seems to be the cop-out for developers.
Why does it have to be, though? Couldn't they just have their kids younger than the newbies did?
That's fine, but if we're talking about math, it's a lot younger.
Yeah, and I think it's thrown off that they had their first kiss when Brandy was a teenager. So unless he was she was 14 and he was 17, age they were there was an age difference there, and then he grew up and then she grew up and then they instantly had the kids. It's possible, but a little.
I'm just going to assume people who know more about math made up that determined
it's
that.
Some stuff that's it's probably creepy when they're younger, but it's fine when you're an age gap of 5 years is fine when you're when you're older.
25 and 30.
But when you're 14, it's not as cute. It's not as
not okay. It's not okay.
So it was she always in love with him, but she was he's too old for me. He'll never see me that way. And then he was just you're pretty. And then because if we keep him with
very
the romance,
uncomfortable. Let's move on to something else uncomfortable.
You didn't want to have me do my rant about Celine Dion? It's fine.
Oh no, go for it. There's lots of rants we could make on this topic.
many.
In a way, and one
Ew.
of them that also worked out, the Queen of England had an immediate crush on Philip. Like she met him when she was like young, and he was 19. I think it was like 13 and 19, and like she would have nobody else but him.
Yeah,
which is fine now, but at the time, like they did wait. Like she was like, nope, he's the only one that I want, and she was set
wait
on him. Thanks, the crown.
God bless.
I learned.
Thanks, the crown. All right, so back to the Brokes.
I know nothing. I skipped
watched
history,
TV
math, and
shows.
science, guys.
That's right. Well, just so you don't have to skip twice, what else could be the cause for this weird time
This is
discrepancy?
my favorite.
Can we make
Always.
this involve Don Lothario?
Always.
Or is it so? Don Lothario makes an appearance in Riverview, and it's hinted at time travel by women pushing him into a machine, and there being laughter, and then he just waking up in Riverview.
Listen to our Goth and Caliente episodes for more info on that.
Could it be possible that Skip skipped into that
Yes.
same machine and went forward in time?
Is it a two-way wormhole?
Because it's implied it's like a machine they built. So is it possible that somebody made the machine? Like, I like the time travel theory.
It's all wibbly wobbly.
So that way you can keep it's still in the same universe, but it explains why like 30 years of either Skip was gross or there was a 30-year gap or that Skip just didn't have.
But Caitlin,
Yeah.
I don't like time travel. Do you have another way that someone could unnaturally change their age?
Or in Sims 2, they also had the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful lifetime achievement points that you could spend on the Fountain of Youth. That would de-age you.
Lifetime achievement points.
The fountain, yeah. So there is a Fountain of Youth.
They're just aspiration points with another name.
Yeah, pretty much. So the Fountain of Youth would,
Everything was better in The Sims 2.
Yes.
That's all.
depending on, so say you were, because they were levels, because you could be like plat. If you were, depending on how your aspiration points were doing, if you drank the Fountain of Youth, it could either, if you drank it when you were like platinum and everything's great, you could lose like 20 days, I think. Ugh. But if you were negative aspiration points, you would actually age if you drank from the Fountain of Youth.
Whoops.
So if you could go, yeah.
Ooh, that's harsh. That's some Indiana Jones and the Temple of
Bullshit.
the Last Crusade
The temple
shit.
of nonsense.
There were consequences in Sims 2. Consequences. You could age up badly and just not have a long
Well, that's why we were so worried about Bo Broke, because nobody was teaching him how to talk, and he was like ready to age up. So you had to like get in there if you wanted to.
Yeah, you had to like
Mhm.
work. And plus, all he wanted was to like, I just want to learn all the things. And you're like, this takes time we don't have, child.
Oh, can we just say for a minute I played long enough for him to age up, and I was really surprised when he just kind of popped up to child, and then like,
Yeah.
because they told me he was going to age up, and I was like, oh yeah, cakes, and then I got distracted, but he was fine with
It's
it.
at 6 o'clock.
There was no emotional fallout from not having a cake. It's
Because
great.
he's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
I don't.
But they do in Sims 2, everybody ages up at 6 p.m. So if
Yeah.
you do want a cake, you got to make it before 6.
No dessert.
But
It's
it's
for
just like
dinner.
in The Sims 4, you're just paying for that for days. You don't have a cake.
Yeah, the sad moodlet post boring birthday. Like, listen, deal.
Get over it. Some birthdays aren't important. It's fine.
All right, why don't you come in and ruin this, Melissa,
Who may?
With your
with
logic.
your reality?
I mean, look, there's a lot of math questions we have, but it could just be our final or on this nonsense could be the fact that it's just an Easter egg that the creators wanted to put in as like a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the fact that there were, from a developmental standpoint, 2 skips. Do we hate that?
Sounds like an alien conspiracy that the developers
like
did,
it.
and I don't like
Yeah,
it.
I think the aliens did it, and they're just they mind raid the developers to make them say that it was just part of the code. But we know the truth is that the aliens have invaded Pleasant View and they're manipulating everything behind the scenes.
Every sim guru is an alien.
Just ask Bella.
It's just established.
No, they're just mind controlled by aliens.
You know what else doesn't add up? Here's what I gotta know. Where are the rest of the Brokes? Where did they end up? So Sims 3, we have a full-fledged Broke family, but where did they go once we get to Sims 2? Like, Brandy should have people to reach out to. She's this, like, single mom with 3 kiddos. And
where's her husband's family?
Where are all the Brokes? He had a sister.
There was a sister.
Cousins.
Yeah, Trigger. I mean, who wouldn't want to be friends with Trigger?
He would have good stories. Where whoever he is, a guy named Trigger has good stories.
Sounds like a good time. Word.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think, Roxy? What's your theory?
All right. I had a little bit of a theory, but it involves making things up. But that's fine, because that's what we're here to do.
All right.
So I might have my skips mixed up. But so one skip, which I think is the green-eyed skip, he arrived from the future. Or maybe the past. He went some kind of time travel. And he was there to father Bo, because they pointed out that, like, the other skip died before Bo was conceived. And he talked Brandy, you know, he's like, I'm Skip, I love you. And she's like, yeah, okay, you're Skip and you love me. And he told her that, like, if she killed off the other Skip Broke, they would get their life insurance money, and that's how they get the bed and the pinball machine. But she blew all them insurance money on fun stuff. And the plan was that she was going to live happily ever after with Bo's father. But when he's the one who, like, drowned the other Skip Broke in the pool, and there was a wrinkle in the time-space continuum, and they both died.
So he killed himself, but somehow it's a homicide.
Yeah. So it's like a suicidal homicide, and because of the glitch in the game, you can only resurrect one of them.
How would Green-Eyed Skip know about Brandy to do this? Is Green-Eyed Skip from another... Maybe not a future...
Google.
Maybe not a future. Green-Eyed Skip is from Sims 4 alternate timeline. So he's not in Sims 4 because he popped into Sims 2 and then died.
He looked her up. He said, I want to find relatives. And he found Broke listing in the Sims phone book and said, she doesn't look like me. We must have been married.
This'll work.
Or maybe he knew her, but, like, wasn't around when the relationship blossomed. Because they had a long courtship. They had the kiss, but they weren't in love until later. And who knows, maybe they didn't fall in love until after Dustin was born.
Because he was so much older than her.
If anyone is still listening at this point, God bless.
My string map, it makes perfect sense that I have. I have a string map with all the conspiracies, and there's different
Exactly.
It
all makes perfect sense. But, like, Brandy, you know, had Dustin, and she was still living with her parents because she was a teenager, and Skip had gotten freaked out. And then, like, he came over to meet the baby, and they gradually grew to love each other and decided to get married, and happy ending, except for the drowning.
The mutual drowning. Or did Green-Eyed Skip, because they're the same technically, like, made of the same make, you're not supposed to touch yourself when you time travel because that'll cause problems.
Right.
And the wrinkle's really just a course correction of the universe.
Yeah. Exactly. Time travel is terrible.
And there's no TARDIS to explode to fix it because that's a stupid fix to any problem.
Shh. Don't talk about the TARDIS that way.
You can't do it twice. Moving on.
So, key takeaways here as we close our discussion of the Broke family. I mean, The Sims is just a bubbling well of fun theories and cross sections of time and space. Listen, look it up. Go on the Sims wiki. If you don't believe us, this goes all the way to the
and
top.
all the way to the bottom of the pool.
That's true. The gene pool and the ladderless pool.
Don't delete the ladder.
Or depends on what your goal is.
Wasn't "Don't Delete the Ladder" like one of our proposed sign-offs?
I think that was
"Don't Delete the Ladder" was one of the names that I proposed for the podcast.
For the podcast.
This has been Don't Delete the Letter podcast.
So much easier to say, oh my God, than Under the Plumbob.
Yeah, you love long titles.
Yep.
Speaking of catchy titles, time to move on to our newest segment called What Just Happened?
Which is also the subtitle of this episode. What just happened?
Truly. Are your tinfoil hats still on, Roxy? Please take it away.
No, I'm going to replace it with my hoodie, my hood, and my scythe, because this is Death Corner with Roxy. So I have a story, and I promise I won't do this too often, but occasionally we'll probably have stories from us, and then one of you two can tell the story from our other listener, but this was too good not to share. So I was playing my 100 baby save, and weird things were happening. My child sims were getting random reward traits without purchasing them. One child got observant, one teen got fertile, and if that wasn't weird enough, I repaired my game. Yeah. So I repaired my game thinking that there was a glitch going on. And right after aging up a set of twins to young adult, as soon as I reloaded the household, the male twin was stuck in an alcove that was just a closet and some blank space with no door. And he was no longer a member of the household, so I couldn't teleport him. But it didn't matter because he was in the process of dying the minute I loaded my save.
Oh, no.
There was literally nothing I could do. And thank the llama, he was a young adult, so he still counts toward my challenge total. So look on the bright side. But yeah, and this actually ended up happening to me twice. And I learned, don't age up your teenagers while they're having extreme emotions, because then when they're young adults, they die.
So are they protected when they're teenagers, kind of, from their... Because the teenagers are the ones I'm most afraid of, because they can come back from school and just be, like, very sad. And you're like, oh, okay, please go for a jog. I know what you're doing. I kind of think
that must have come with parenthood, because I think that's when the mood swings started. And yeah, they must have, like, fixed it so they couldn't just... So the teenagers weren't just dying all the time. So yeah, that's a thing.
Because I haven't had a death of emotions yet, and... I'm always nervous about my teenagers.
Side note, that whole glitch thing wasn't a glitch. It was a setting I had in MC Commander that I didn't realize was doing that. So if you set it, so you can set it in the pregnancy settings or something like that to inherit traits. And I thought that just meant it would maybe consider, I don't know what I thought that meant. So instead of being what I wanted it to be, which was considering the parents' traits, which how would it do that? Because the randomize button didn't exist at the time. I don't know. I'm not that smart.
Yeah.
It meant they would inherit random reward traits their parent had. So that's how that happened. It was kind of cool, but I turned it off because it's too cheaty for some of the challenges that I play.
And you don't want your teenager to be fertile. That's not.
No, thank you.
So anyway, that's my my story.
Very interesting. Shall I tell Karen's story?
Yeah.
So this one comes to us from Karen on Facebook. Thanks for writing us, Karen. One of my Sims wanted a baby girl really badly. Parentheses. Of course, this is a storyline in my head. Parentheses. But she kept having boys. I wasn't trying to have boys at all, but she had 4 friggin' boys. So I finally had her adopt a girl. She got so excited that she died.
Oh, no.
The orphan girl who was just adopted witnessed her new mother's death, begged Grim Reaper, but he said tough cookies, and she stayed dead. So pissed. So now this is a family of 4 boys, 1 newly adopted girl, and that is so upsetting. Karen, I feel you. That's rough.
That little girl's like, everywhere I go, bad things happen. I'm cursed.
I hope she went on to live her best life.
Yeah, I'll adopt her.
Also, wanting girls, #relatable. If you're playing the Lunar Zodiac Challenge that Coffee started, you have to only have girls. And I can relate to having a string of boys and being like, no, why?
Listen to pop music.
I just
That's
like
cheating.
The girls because I dress them up more.
Yeah, girls have better clothes. Caitlin, what's coming up next?
Oh, so much. So Cowplant's going to have a special episode, and there's going to be girls who code and girls who game. I know nothing about coding. I'm excited to learn.
Yeah.
I do know about gaming. And we but not me. Llama's going to do a build episode. I excuse myself from all building episodes. You don't want, here's my box. I put things in it. So they're going to build your current home or your childhood home. This is a really cool challenge idea. And then do this with us and then put it in the gallery and just tag us at Plumbob Podcast or Under the Plumbob or Under the Plumbob Podcast. We look at all of them.
Yeah, we want to see all your stuff too.
So yeah, that's stuff coming up. I'm excited for those two to listen to them.
Yay.
Amazing. Can we do a quick shout out, you guys?
Yes, please.
So we got this great one on Tumblr. By a user that I'm not going to pronounce correctly. Si Hansen de l'Amour is the best I can do.
At first I thought it was maybe Chan Sun de l'Amour, and then I was like, no, wait, maybe it's C. Hansen.
This is
Chan Sun de l'Amourt. Chan Sun de l'Amourt.
So, this is everybody's favorite part of the podcast where we struggle over pronouncing
usernames.
So.
It's Tumblr. It's fine.
Anyway, dear listener, thank you for writing in.
We're so sorry.
They wrote to us, "Hey guys, I was so excited when I learned there was a Sims podcast. I have been listening to it at work and I love it. It's awesome to hear from diverse voices who all have a love of this game in common. If anyone on the team has ever played the console games, it's good that I'm reading this. If anyone on the team has ever played the console games, I would love to hear an episode about that. I got started playing The Sims through all the versions on GameCube. Anyway, thanks for a great show with Thanks for a great show with awesome hosts. Keep it up. Heart emoji."
Double heart emoji.
That's right. And now I hang my head in shame because you may know my disdain for the console games. And I don't mean to personally attack anyone who plays the console games. I just know for myself that it sounds like a straight up nightmare. But if you enjoy playing with the console, I want to hear about it. I want to talk about it. I got to learn more about it because clearly there is a major following for our console friends. So keep shouting us out. You can personally yell at me by name for shaming our console players. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry.
It sounds like a lot more work. But now didn't they make it so you can now play with a keyboard on the console? Like you can hook it up and it'll work.
That's pretty cool. But also, just get it on PC.
Not everybody can do that, Melissa.
Also, her tag, the thing that's under her name is feminism, tofu, death, and kitties. I'm like,
same.
I feel this.
I mean,
tag yourself. I'm feminism. Roxy, you're death.
I'm kitties.
Social media plugs. It's plug time. Plug yourself in to us.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
No,
okay,
please.
So I'll do it. On Instagram and Twitter, we are Plumbobcast. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit. We are on Facebook and Tumblr. We're Under the Plumbob Podcast. Our website is undertheplumbob.com. There's a contact form on there. You can just email us at undertheplumbob.podcast@gmail.com.
We're also on Twitch and YouTube, and we have stuff there, so go look. We have it's Under the Plumbob Podcast for both of those. And you can get all our links from our website, as Caitlin said, undertheplumbob.com. That's the easiest one to remember. Please, we're a podcast, so you have to subscribe, rate, and review.
And we like validation a lot. It makes us feel good. We feel so good when we see a review, guys. I'm not even joking. We're all just like, oh my God. When I'm sad, I look at them.
The ratings are pretty sweet too. Our rating is very high on Apple Podcasts, so please go and keep it up there. We're on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play.
Thank you majorly to our researchers, Jen and Rebecca on our team. I know Roxy did a fair amount as well. Thank you. Caitlin, God, you taught me so much. I learned so much.
I mean, to be honest, we just looked at the Sims Wiki.
The Sims Wiki was most.
But there's a lot of theorizing that had to go on. So
that's true.
Thanks for your brain power.
If you missed it, we have a Patreon, and it's awesome. And we just want you to come. And like, if you can follow us on Patreon, you can see our posts that give you freebie things like wallpapers for your phone or your laptop, your PC, as Melissa says. If you want to join too, we have a Discord channel that's just for you, and we miss you and we want you there. It's a family.
And we're so annoying, and you should definitely come talk to us.
It's a community.
Like, it's up and running, and we're talking to people, and it's so nice to be like, oh.
I mean, as of this recording, or in early July, which is the week we launched, we have 5 patrons, which is so cool.
And they're talking to us, and it's like, oh, we're not just speaking into a void. People listen to us, and they want to talk to us.
Yeah.
We talk to strangers all the time, and it's so cool.
I love it.
Try it.
We also have candy in our van if you want to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's got a unicorn painted on the side and a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Get that van candy.
Mm-hmm.
In the candy.
Oh, yeah.
The kittens are in the candy.
Thanks to Sims Wiki and all those other places that we get our research from. I know I watched a few videos on YouTube. One by Plumbella comes to mind, and I'll put links to some others. Oh, and of course, Krill Sims 3.
One's so funny because it's like a murder. It's like a crime documentary.
He's my favorite.
Oh, I'm going to watch that.
I like the way he does his videos. All right. So I guess that's it. We have to go back to the real world, guys.
We do.
Turn your mug around because hashtag we also have merch now, and we have a mug, and it's beautiful.
The mug is so cute.
And one side says, quote, back to the real world. So that's where we're going.
Bye.
That's right.
Refill that coffee. Hang in there till next time.
And put that ladder back in your pool.
Get the ladder, put it back.
Yeah.
Put it back.
Yeah. Put it back. Put back the ladder. Today, everyone lives.
Everyone lives.
Adios, everyone.
Bye.
Badish. Dag dag.
We are on Instagram and Twitter. We are Plumbob Pod. Oh, shoot. I'm so caffeinated right now.